No one yet knows what is at the centre of the Maelstroms. That, however, may soon be set to change with the introduction of new technology which will allow players to access or at least stay inside of the Maelstroms for far longer. And could all of this directly connect into Update 15? Now, before we get to the details on that, let's talk a little bit, very briefly, about the Maelstroms themselves and get people caught up, for those who may have missed it a little. Now, there are 8 Maelstroms out there. These are at the centre of the Thargoid invasion. Around the Maelstroms there are hubs of activity, hubs of invasion, through which the Thargoids are raging devastation upon humanity. As of today, there are 887 star systems that have been affected by the Thargoids. 18 of these are now in a state of post-Thargoid recovery. Now, you may have noticed that this number keeps increasing, the number of Thargoid-affected star systems. It was 685 star systems 2 weeks ago, and at the end of December was around 429 star systems. So yeah, today at 887 star systems under Thargoid threat, it's really showing no signs of slowing down, despite players' best efforts to contain and confront the Thargoids. At some point then, something is going to need to change in order to move the tide. It seems that Frontier have this planned as a part of the narrative, and we've got some hints of this with a latest Galnet update. I'm going to read a bit of this here. The update is titled Aegis Returns. Now, many of you will remember that Aegis was initially founded in 3303, so about 6 years ago now, 5.5 years ago now. It was a pretty big deal for the background of Elite Dangerous. This was the force, this was the agency that was set up to confront and deal with the Thargoids. It was a really nice piece of background lore, but in terms of direct gameplay, it didn't really affect things in any way directly. It seems though that this time around that may change. Aegis again has emerged after being disbanded in 3308. This time it's the alliance again between, the Alliance, the Empire and the Federation, and they are building a new technology. So I'm going to read the final paragraph of the Galnet post right here. The engineer, Petra Olmanova, has approached us with preliminary designs for a method of allowing ships to survive longer within the Maelstrom's corrosive clouds. We have assigned several metallurgy and chemistry experts to develop this further. So very clearly at some point it's going to be possible to stay inside the Maelstroms for somewhat longer, although it doesn't really seem to indicate that this would be indefinite. Although that said, it does appear to be the next step. The big question of course is, how long will this technology take to emerge for players to access? It's a very valid question of course, and based on what we've seen over the past few months, I would say it's likely a matter of weeks or perhaps even a matter of a month at the absolute most. Speculation of course, but well-founded speculation. Expect to see a community goal very soon, followed by the release of the technology shortly thereafter. An even more interesting question, however, is what exactly will this technology enable? Well, quite clearly it will allow players to stay inside the Maelstrom clouds for far longer, but what do we expect to find there? Personally, I expect this to unfold on 2 different layers. What we can find within the clouds themselves, something we're not really seeing at the moment, but maybe there will be something there. And then what we will find at the centre of the cloud, something we probably won't be able to access for a little longer. Again, I really want to underscore this, keep in mind this is pure speculation on my behalf, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if this is all aiming towards Update 15. Update 15 is currently scheduled to release at some point in April. It's not that far away at this point, just 2 months away. We can expect maybe this anti-corrosive technology for ships to be made available within the next month, which will then leave another month before Update 15 drops. And personally, I expect Update 15 to surround whatever is found within the centre of the Maelstroms. Now, very little is known about what these Maelstroms actually are. What is known is they are essentially spawning points for the Thargoid ships which are expanding out to the nearby star systems. So either some sort of portal, or some type of base, maybe some sort of manufacturing plant, or perhaps even some sort of mothership. And again, I'll emphasise the idea there of a mothership being such of a very literal form, a ship that gives birth to the other organic ships. Whatever way it goes, it's sure to be interesting. Now, there is another point that's worth raising here, and that is the nature of Update 13 and the nature of Update 14. So far, they have had a very heavy focus on space-based content. Some of the content can be found on the ground, of course, with bases gone offline and bases on fire, and of course missions of all types, both Odyssey missions as well as regular Horizons and Elite missions, all being undertaken to counteract the Thargoid threat. But the fact remains that this so far is all very much space-based, and it would seem that Update 15, if it was to centre on the Maelstroms, would also be space-based. It's an interesting direction to go in after the release of a boots-on-the-ground update such as Odyssey, but personally I'm all for that. Elite really should be maintaining a big focus on space. But that said, it's the future for the game still is a mystery. We don't know what Update 15 is. However, Frontier have always done a good job previously of leaving these little breadcrumbs laying around via their Galnet posts, and from this it was pretty much possible to predict what would happen with Update 13 and to an extent what would happen with Update 14. So yeah, we're seeing these breadcrumbs are laid again for Update 15, so at least in part we should be able to get a little bit of an outline and a little bit of an idea as to what to expect. But who knows, maybe in a couple of months we'll come back here and I'll have been completely wrong. Now, Update 15 is not the only update coming this year. Worth pointing out that Update 14 released in November, Update 15 is coming in April, so that's around about a 5-month gap. Meanwhile, Frontier have confirmed that Update 16 is set to release later this year, although they haven't given a date for that just yet. It could be releasing much closer, or it could have that same 5-month gap. Either way, just curious as to what you guys think. Do you feel that 2 updates perhaps within a year would be enough content for Elite Dangerous? Or do you feel that there should be more? Would you prefer to see Update 17 drop in this year as well? Or are you enjoying the current pace of activity within the game? Do let me know your thoughts and feelings about all of this in the comments section below. What do you expect to find within the Maelstroms? Do you think we'll get to the centre of the Maelstrom anytime soon, or do you think perhaps that will be the focus of Update 15? And what do you envision seeing for the far future of Elite Dangerous, Update 16 and beyond? For all these thoughts, do let me know what you're thinking in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.